You've probably seen text-to-image AI models generate some wild stuff lately, realistic hands, funny memes, and even legible text. But what if you could train one of those models to learn your style, your characters, and even your brand in under 30 minutes for less than $2? Essentially, in this video, I'll show you exactly how to do that. I'll show you how to fine-tune the new Flux model using Replicate's LoRa-based workflow. There are no GPUs to hire, no complicated setup, is just uploading a few images and boom. After some time, you've got a custom model that understands your concept better than Midjourney, ChatGPT, or any other tool ever could. We'll also break it down step by step, and I'll show you how to prep your images, how to set up your trigger word, launch training, and use your model with prompts. I'll even show you some real-world examples that people are using to create crazy original art style. So let's get right into it. So over here, this is the fine-tuned Flux point 1 with your own images. This was launched last year. And as you can see, there's a lot of information right here. So I'm going to be guiding you through the whole process and go through it as well. And Flux 1 is a family of text-to-image models released by Black Forest Labs summer. It has set a new standard, which I agree with, for open source models. They can generate realistic hands, legible text, and even the strangely hard task of funny memes. So that is great. We all love memes. You can now fine-tune Flux 1 with Ostris AI Toolkit, which we will be using. Teach the model to recognize and generate new concepts by showing it a small set of examples, allowing you to customize the model's output for specific styles. Ostris Toolkit uses the LoRa technique for fast, lightweight trainings. My question here to myself is, what does LoRa actually stand for? Because the word gets thrown around so much. Is it a way? Yeah. Low rank adaptation. Low rank adaptation. Okay. Learning model for specific use cases without retaining the entire model. Interesting. So let's go back here. People have already made some amazingly fine-tuned images. So there's that, which is pretty good. Yep. So it's a way to generate images in your liking, essentially. You can fine-tune by uploading some images, either in the web or via API, which is what we'll be using in the next videos as well, this API. And we'll make it easy to run. You don't have to go looking for beefy GPU. Great. So this is essentially what you won't have to do. To prepare your training data, all you need to do is a set of images that represent the concept you want to teach the model. So it's not just about teaching it to create images in your liking. If you wanted to, you could also create images that represent the concept you want to teach the model. So it could also be about concepts, just like we saw over here. And in order to make that happen, here are some guidelines. So use 12 to 20 images for the best results. Use large images if possible, JPEG or PNG. Optionally, create a corresponding text file for each image with the same name containing the caption. So if you wanted to, you could also include captions in the form of text files. Once you have your images, zip them and upload them into a single file. Then we go to this page, which we have open right here. We select the model and all that stuff. So what I'm going to do now to get started is find 12 to 20 images of myself, ensure they're in JPEG format, and create a zip file so we can then proceed to the next step. So let me just pause this and I'll get that done. So over here, I have collected 20 images of myself, and what I'm going to do is just zip them all into or put them all into a zip file. So I'm going to add to archive, go with zip. Let's call this Kevin Laura, and let's hit OK. So now this should create a zip file right here that I'll be able to proceed with. So this will be the source of the data, I guess. So let's go back here. And here we have created training on the web. To start the training process, navigate to this on Replicate. So just put this side by side. And let's see where we were here. So navigate to this, select a model as your destination, or create a new one by typing in the name in the model selector field. So train, get started. Okay, select the model at your destination. So select a model. If the model does not exist, select the create model option. Let's just zoom out for a sec. Where's create a model? Create a model when training the data. So here there's nothing. So how do I, if the model does not exist, select the create model option and the field will appear to enter the name. create model option. Okay, let's find that. Menu run. Typing in the name, the model selector field. Pretty sure it's somewhere in front of me and I'm not seeing it. Alternatively, okay, potentially we need to sign in first. So let's just do that. All right, we're good. So let's create a new model and let's call this Kevin April 2025. Let's leave it as private and okay, private. How do I confirm that? Public, private, create a new model. Okay. Okay, I'm just going to leave it as this. I think that's all we need. Input images, so a zip file. So let's just upload this. We recommend a minimum of 10 images. If you include the captions, okay, I don't have captions, so let's just drag drop or just select that. So downloads, new folder, pick the zip file, great. Trigger word, so a trigger word refers to the object, style, or concept you're training on. Pick a string that isn't real, like TOK. So let's put in KVN. Okay, auto caption, automatically caption images using Lava. I don't know what that is, but let's see here if there's some information on that. Let's go back to trigger word. Okay, trigger word. 4 steps. I mean, no information on whatever that was. Auto caption, automatic caption images. Okay, whatever. Let's leave that as this. Optional. If you want text you want to appear at the beginning of all your generated captions. For example, a photograph of talk. No. At the end of all your generated caption. Nope. Steps to save this as 1000. Okay. Laura, leave the learning grade bed size resolution as the default. Leave auto captioning enabled. Okay. So auto caption enabled. Great. Leave all this stuff as the default. If you want to save your model on Hugging Face, enter your Hugging Face token and set the repo ID. Okay, so Hugging Face repository ID, we would like to upload a trained Laura to Hugging Face. For example, if the given repo name doesn't exist, a new public repo will be created. Okay, I believe I will need this. So let's give this a name. Can I give it the same name as the model I gave it here? So Kevin April 2025. Kevin-April-2025. Let me just copy this. Paste it into a notepad. So this is the Hugging Face repo. Okay. Hugging Face token. A secret has its value redacted after being sent to the model. If you'd like to upload a trained learning, yep. So this we need. Weights and biases API key. If you'd like to log training process to WAB. Nope. So I just need a Hugging Face token there. And I'm not sure what that is. So let's just get that. Hugging Face secret. I believe that is it, right? Secret token. User access tokens. Okay, to authenticate an application. I'm not sure if I need this, but I might when it comes to using this via the API. So let's sign up. Let's begin. Let's choose the buckets. And there's a bucket. And other bucket. Confirm. Okay, great. Login potentially. Yep. All right. So API access token there. Okay. So yeah. So here I had created one. So let's create a new one here. Let's call this Kevin April 2025. User permissions. Sort of permissions. This can't be changed. Yeah. Let's give it all the permissions it needs. Okay, so I created the token with the permissions it needed. I have the token, so I'm just going to paste it in here. And let's just create training and see what we get. So I'm guessing if all goes well, this is now going through the images, unzipping them, doing its thing, and training the model. So let's see where we get to. Okay, we get the output here. So it's downloading the stuff. And I think this is where we just need to give it time to complete, essentially. So it's creating the captions as well here. Photo of a man wearing a white sweater, sitting at a table, etc., etc. Great. My trigger word was KVN. So I'll also add that to my notes here. Trigger word. And yeah, let me just pause the video and I'll come back to it once this is done loading. Okay, so over here I just ran into an error. So it had finished all the training right here. But the problem is that over here, it's saying that I have an error or there's a problem in my Hugging Face connection. So uploading to Hugging Face repo URL. So it's trying to go to this URL and it's saying error uploading to Hugging Face 404 client error. Repository not found for this URL. And I believe the issue is that over here in the Hugging Face repo ID, I might not have put in my username and then the repo, I believe. So this might need to be Kevin Far /Kevin April 2025. That's the only thing I can think of. So I'm just going to try and run this once more and see if I can solve this. Okay, so what is funny is that even though I got the error here, uploading to Hugging Face, this still is saying succeeded here. So it took 12 minutes, 35 seconds, created 30 minutes ago. And when I went here and typed in my token, which is KVN, looking at the screen, this actually created that image. So it does seem to be working. Let's try that in a Superman suit. Hit run. So this is creating the image. I mean, yeah, there's something very weird happening there with the finger. But, I mean, even the face, not the best, but it is working as I would expect it to work, I guess. So, weird. Let's see if we can run it through an OCO tool and potentially see if this is working correctly. Okay, so over here I have the information if we were to run this via HTTP request. So I'm just going to copy this. Going to let's go to N8N, create a new workflow. I'm going to add a step here, trigger manually, and I'm going to make an HTTP request. So I'm going to import the curl, paste that in here, hit import, and we'll get all the information right here. All I need to change right here is the bearer token, and over here, let's see what we get. So we get the input, the model, and what I would like to see is where to actually enter the prompt. So let me have a look at that. Okay, so all you need to do in order to get that to be part of the generation or of the HTTP code, I guess, is just enter something here. And when you go to HTTP, you get the information to be displayed here. So now if I copy this once more, go back to N810 and re-import, I should get that line where I can enter my prompt. So this is right here. So if I say KVN in an Iron Man suit this time, I'm just going to replace my token there, which you can get by going to your replicate account, go to API tokens, and over here you should have the tokens right there. So I'm just going to create a token, call this YouTube, create token, and I'm just going to copy this and paste it in here. And then I can test this step. Let's see what we get. So this is making the request to replicate. So now, even if I go to my dashboard, this should be running right now. Great, which it is. So that's running. Let's go back here, see what we got. Got a bunch of information, and here we get the get URL. So now, if I copy this, replicate this, or duplicate that. So this is making the request, and this is getting the actual image. Now I can paste in that right there. So I can also make this the actual get URL from here as a variable, as an expression. And that should be pretty much it. I don't need to send a body. I don't need to send that. And this should be a get request. And if I test this step over here, I get a bunch of information. And let's see, we got the logs. And here we get the output. So now if I open this up, let's see, and here I am in an Iron Man suit. So this is working correctly. Looking very buff. So that is working correctly right there. Okay, so maybe Hugging Face isn't really needed, because with these we can make the request for the image and then actually get it. So here what I was saying is that instead of hard coding that URL, we obviously want to be able to get that right here. So we can paste that in there. Now if I test this with another request, so instead of Kevin in an Iron Man suit, I say Kevin driving his Honda Hornet motorcycle. Let's X out of this. Let's test the workflow. And potentially here we might need, or we might have to add a delay function. I don't know if this keeps going. Do we have a preferred wait here? Oh yeah, we do. So potentially we don't even need to do that, because this will keep going until the image is generated. So technically once this starts, the image should already be available. So technically we should be able to download it immediately. What we might want to change are some of the parameters here. So here we have the output format is WebP. So I might go with JPEG. Aspect ratio is 1:1. So we might go with something like, I don't know, 16:9 or 9:16. Output quality, let's go with 100. Let's leave everything else as is. Number of outputs is 1, megapixels 1, LoRa scale. Okay, great. So let's see what we got in terms of Kevin riding motorcycle. So here we could also do a set here where we're just mapping the actual image URL, which should be under output right here. So this would be the output URL. So like this, we can test the step, and obviously it's creating it once more, but this should give us the image URL. So this is grabbing, or this is getting image. This is creating image. And that should be pretty much it. So now if I open this up, I get that, which is a JPEG. Great. And here we go. Kevin on his, I mean, it's not a Honda Hornet, but it is Kevin on his motorcycle. So this is working as expected. So yeah, that's how to train LoRa on your image and actually be able to run it through N8N. I hope you found this video useful, and try it yourself. Let me know how it goes. In the meantime, don't forget to hit like and subscribe so you don't miss future videos. And let me know if you have any comments about future videos that you would like to see. I'll speak to you soon.